Greetings and hello to my favorite people in the world. I am your host with the most, ready to vlog and post, Mr. I Am Cash, and you're watching That's What I Was Telling You Before. It is an honor and a pleasure to have you here again, and man, we got a great show for you again today. Hey, we've been talking about the versus battles everybody should be talking about, and on today's, we're going to be talking about the R&B versus battles that should be going head to head against one another. All right, so I hope you guys are ready for that. Now, with that said, remember to check us out on the YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook platforms. Make sure you hit the subscribe, follow, and the like button if you like what you see today. Now, if you don't like what you see today, hit the like button. It'll make you feel better anyway, okay? Hey, but without further ado, we're gonna jump right into these top 5. But before we jump into the top 5, y'all know what we gotta do. My intro, man. Hit it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, your host with the most, ready to vlog and post, Mr. I Am Cash. Hey, today we are talking about versus battles that should be happening right now. So I don't want to make you wait any longer. We're going to jump right in to this top 5 of the R&B artists that should be going head to head against one another. All right, let's start out with number 5. At number 5, I have these two men that have that soulful take me to church sound, and they belong in my top 5. All right, so in my top 5, we're gonna start off with Molly Music versus PJ Morton. When comparing these two men, they are good at combining new school with old school flavor, rap, and some of that old school gospel. All right, now when looking at their numbers, Molly Music has been out since 2014, and PJ's been writing and producing since 2005. All right, now like me, PJ Morton is a preacher's kid, but this preacher's kid is very well known on both sides of the aisle of the industry when it comes to R&B and gospel. Okay, nonetheless, this will be one that everybody can enjoy, and these two men always embody love, soul, and good gospel music. As we move to the number 4 spot, I have two ladies who make great music every time they touch a microphone, okay? So, in my number 4 spot, I have Summer Walker versus Janae Aiko. Now, these two ladies have an undeniable sound. The music they put out is always great, and it always gets you in the mood for love, all right? Now, when comparing their numbers and their stats, when it comes to EPs, mixtapes, and albums, Janae Aiko has about 6, Summer Walker has about 5 or 6, so they're about neck and neck when it comes to that. Now, these two sexy divas deserve their own verses just because of their sensual style. All right, they have a smooth style that everybody always loves to hear, and they kind of remind me of Sade. Sade is one of those ladies that the sound sounds exactly the same on stage as it sounds on the CD. So Janae Aiko versus Summer Walker at the number 4 spot. Moving to the number 3 spot, I have Friend versus Friend. At my number 3 spot, I have Jamie Foxx versus Tank. Comparing these two men, they have worked together on several projects together and are very well known. Tank has been putting out albums and joints since Maybe I Deserve to So Close and still making hits to this day. Jamie Foxx is not only a great actor, but he is one of the greatest singers in the game. I remember back in 1994 when this dude had the song Experiment. Experiment is one of the most underrated songs in my opinion, especially in the time and the era that it was released, okay? The electric sounds that he was putting out then was a real step up compared to some of the other music that we heard at the time, but nobody really took Jamie seriously just because he was an actor on In Living Color. But to me, that was one of the greatest songs he has ever made. And anybody that has never heard it, please look up Jamie Foxx's Experiment, okay? Now, this is a battle where I'm gonna have the lights turned down low and the old lady right beside me, if you know what I mean. Right before we get to number 1, let's stop at number 2, okay? At number 2, these are two of the dopest ladies with the sound that most people wish they could mimic, all right? So, in my number 2 spot, I have Jasmine Sullivan versus Faith Evans. Now, these two raspy voiced women are two of the most unique sounding women that nobody can even attempt to mimic, all right? Now, Faith Evans has been putting out hits since the early 90s, and it is always an honor and a pleasure to hear her grace a microphone. Now, with that said, when it comes to Jasmine Sullivan, nobody does runs. And nobody can modulate the way Jasmine Sullivan does. Not even Beyonce can touch some of the modulations and runs that Jasmine does. And let me be clear, Queen B has range, all right? With that said, it's no disrespect to Beyonce or anybody else in between, but Faith Evans and Jasmine Sullivan can go neck to neck with just about anybody in the game, and this is one I know everybody would enjoy. Now the time has come for the number 1 spot, all right? I hope you guys are ready. I think this is a pick that you will really love. And at that number 1 spot, it'll be announced right after I come back from this.
I am the head trainer, owner with Bradley's Performance and Wellness. And my number 1 goal is to help each individual reach a higher sense of self by integrating physical fitness into their current lifestyle. In order to reach the highest level of your fitness outcomes, there first needs to be a positive intention set in place. A mindset that is ready to embody discipline and accountability. So you're taking the mindset and the movement and we're bringing them both into sync, and that's how you're gonna reach your maximal potential. So come and join Bradley's Performance and Wellness small group fitness class.
Welcome back, everybody. The moment you've all been waiting for, the number 1 spot. But before we get into the number 1 spot, there were several R&B artists that I would love to hear in a battle. So I wanted to make sure that I give some honorable mentions to those who almost made the cut. With that said, trust and believe you deserve your own verses. Out to our honorable mentions. You guys are superstars and don't let anybody ever tell you differently. Without further ado, here comes the number one spot. Hey, at the number one spot, these two men are constantly tearing up the charts day in and day out. Alright, so at my number one spot, are you ready? Number one goes to Miguel versus Daniel Caesar. Maybe a little bit of a lopsided advantage for Miguel versus Daniel Caesar, mainly because Miguel has been out for quite some time. Now, with that said, regardless of the fact, whenever either one of these two gentlemen hit a microphone and put a song out, it becomes an instant classic, okay? Without any problems. Daniel Caesar puts out instant classics all the time since he's been in rotation over the last few years. Not to mention, Miguel has that same ability. When you hear his songs, everybody always loves listening to Miguel. Miguel is one of those people, the majority of the time, I'm not going to say all the time, but majority of the time, I can listen to Miguel from start to finish when listening to one of his albums, alright? Now, with that said, I'm going to make sure if this versus ever happens, I'm going to make sure we take advantage of the 3 W's, alright? Now, the 3 W's are always, hey, you're a woman, a little bit of wine, and at the end of the night is my 3rd W. Some little fun and whoopee! Now, like always, comes the saddest part of the hour. The part where I have to say goodbye. Hey man, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Please make sure that you check us out. That's what I was telling you before under the Project We Are One channel at YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. And like always, make sure you hit the like button. If you didn't like what you see today, I promise you I'll fix it the next time you watch, okay? So go ahead and hit the like button anyway. It's going to make your day a whole lot, heck of a lot better, all right? On our next episode, we're going to be talking about old school versus old school in a head-to-head versus battle. I promise you guys won't want to miss this. I have some great picks, and I think this old school topic is going to really blow the minds, especially our babies that are the 70s and 80s babies like myself. That said, man, make sure you take care of yourself, and we hope to see you next time on That's What I Was Telling You Before. I am your host with the most, ready to vlog and post, Mr. I Am Cash. Be good until the next time.